Hello, my beautiful introvert friend, and anyone else joining the Empowered Introvert podcast. I'm your host, Heidi, and this is our season 1 wrap up. I have decided to do a wrap up to kind of put an end to the season because I've got a lot of stuff happening in July. I'm going to be traveling, and I had thought originally about pre-recording sessions, but as I'll talk more about later, that just didn't seem like the right decision, not just for me and my energy, but also for the example that I am endeavoring to set. So this episode, I'm going to talk about some reflections on the season, on what I've learned from a personal perspective, and what's next for the podcast. So, why do seasons for a podcast? Originally, I had planned to do seasons without thinking too much about when they would be, how long a season would be, and just trusting that I would figure it out along the way. And along the way, I pretty much forgot about it. You get into this idea that consistency is key. You hear this message all of the time in the marketing space that you got to show up, you got to always be there when people are expecting. And what I found is not just for myself, but for my clients too, like this idea of consistency. It is like, while consistency is important for professionalism and getting some things done, oftentimes, like everyone is different. Some people, it's very easy to be consistent. For some people, that's not the best way that they work. And so when you try to push yourself into being quote unquote consistent, it creates not only a lot of pressure, but a lot of shame. I have seen this so often in my clients where they want to do something regularly in their business or in their life, in their habits. And because they don't do it regularly, like every day, they then feel really bad about it and they go into a shame spiral. And from that place, it becomes even more difficult to do the thing that they wanted to do. And it's just not effective, right? And so I am in a point in my life, in my business, where I'm really searching, exploring, finding the best ways to work that help me not just manage my energy, but to show up in a more powerful way. And having seasons is a way to help do that. And there's also this natural energy of summertime that's happening where we refocus and we're using our energy for other purposes. And I'm going on a couple trips. It's going to be like, I could continue to do the podcast, and I'm sure I could find fun ways to do it. But I also want to be really, really present in the adventures that I'm having, because I think that is like, not only does that, yes, feel better personally, but again, that is a better example. Like that is how I do encourage my clients and friends and everyone to live their lives. So I need to do that too. So this podcast, though, it has been so fun, and we've got 15 episodes that are packed with so much great coaching insight for introverts and really anyone else who lives a bit more of an unconventional life. And for me, when I first started I doing the podcast, I was following some guidelines. I had very kind of rigid ideas of what the flow should look like, and preparing my notes, preparing the topics, how far in advance I should do that. And as I got more comfortable with the process, with all the software involved, I really just wanted to have fun with it and allow what I felt was important in the moment to come forth versus planning out, all of the episodes. And so that, especially in the last 5 episodes, has really been how I've been approaching it. And so not only does it feel it easier to do, but it takes less time and it just feels more natural. Like I'm just trying to be myself as authentically as I can be versus being a professional podcaster who puts her makeup on and like checks all of the things off of the list. And yes, and I think that's going to be the way that I will do it moving forward. And maybe trying to get away from the the office too and out into the world a bit more to really share thoughts that are coming from from nature, from an inspired place, even though I think about the topics pretty quite a lot before I do record. In terms of what is next for the podcast, I am not sure. I am really open to experimentation and maybe opening up the conversation a bit. Right now in my own world, I'm really getting into human design. I'm a projector and exploring what that means. And there's some really amazing ideas that I can see myself exploring more. And also, like, not just being introverted, but being a person who is living an unconventional life in terms of like your energy, the way that you communicate, and how that affects different areas that you show up, like having your own business, your relationships, a job. So there's so much to explore there, and I'm going to be doing a lot of journaling and reflecting, and so we'll see what comes of it. I'm super curious and excited. In terms of when we'll restart, I'm imagining sometime in August, maybe mid-August. So we will see as that time. I'll be traveling, I think, until maybe the first week of August. So yeah. And I really want to thank you for being here, for listening. If you're actually listening to my words right now, that is so amazing. Like the miracle of technology and podcasting, it's so cool. And really, like this podcast is for you. Knowing that you are listening is so huge for me. It's what keeps me motivated. And I'm also curious about your thoughts, about your questions, and would love to hear from you, especially before as I'm like planning this next quote unquote planning, but thinking about what this next season will cover. I'd love to know what interests you. So you can reach out to me on any of the social medias. If you're on my email list, you can respond there. If you're not on my email list, I'd love to have you there. I'll put links for my website, for my contact form. Just like you can go from this podcast right over there and send me a question or whatever you've been thinking about. I would love to hear from you. All right, friends, have a beautiful July. Enjoy your summer. And I encourage you to, to think about ways that you too can also shift your schedule, shift this idea of perfect consistency, and really allow yourself to fully explore and experience what this time in your life is bringing up for you, whether that is this, rare sunny days in Alaska or something else. So take care, and I will see you in season 2. Bye for now.